And with that, we move on to our communication with the public. We do have a sign-up sheet. We have one person who signed up, Shane Burkwalt. So, Mr. Burkwalt, please come forward. If there was someone else that wanted to, if you missed the sign-up sheet, just let us know after Mr. Burkwalt speaks.
Hi.
Good evening.
I know you guys are considering a move of the Compass program from Robert Cooper to middle school for budgetary reasons. I understand that. I think with the program the way it is and what it's done for my son and the other children in the program, it's a good evolution for it to grow that way. These children have been moved from different places in the district to this program because they don't handle the general population well. So with that in mind, my concern is that along with moving it, you're now going to change the program and you're going to take some of the personnel out of there, specifically Angela Weigel. I would like for you guys to reconsider that part of it. I think moving it is awesome. I think it'll be good for the kids, but these kids don't handle change well. You're talking about a massive change for these kids to move them from here up to the middle school and then also be in the general population. Then you're going to take a key part of the program away and you're going to change the program itself. You're going to run into a lot of problems. And honestly, that's my only concern. That's why I came here tonight, to make you guys aware. You know, I don't know what the other parents think. I know what I see. I know what the program's done for my son. And like I said, moving it is awesome. But changing the personnel, I think you're setting them up for failure. So, with that being said, that's my point, and, you know, take it as it is. You know, I hope you guys consider it, not changing that piece of it. So.
Well, I appreciate that real life perspective. I mean, it is, we are later in the agenda discussing for approval the budget cuts, which that was one of the things, one of the changes. And I mean, I'm glad there's a parent here that can tell us how it's going to influence someone in the program.
You know, I understand fiscal responsibility and budget. I'm a small businessman. Like I said, the move, I think it's great, honestly. The kids are scared. They're hesitant. My son's input to me, his biggest fear is not having Miss Weigel there, as well as a lot of the other students. Please. I understand she's going up there, but she's being moved somewhere else. Please don't do that. Honestly, give these kids a chance. I mean, it's a huge change for them. Mm-hmm. To keep her in place to help these kids with that change will make them all the more successful up there and make this look even better to the public.
Well, thanks for coming. Like I said, we'll be discussing that later in the agenda, and you know, I think we can ask Mrs. Zardi to sort of respond to that concern. I don't know if you have something you'd like to say now, but
I think our struggle is just the number of students. We are going to be, a number of the kids that are currently in the Compass program here are moving on to 9th grade at the high school.
Sure.
So we'll have 9 students. I believe that's the correct number.
Yep.
And Dr. Skrivanik, you can, but I think there'll be 9 students next year at the middle school that would be part of that program. So we believe that, you know, Mr. Johnson should be able to facilitate working with 9 kids in that setting. I mean, that's the reasoning that we used when we looked at the numbers of the students.
What about the success of the students? I mean, like I said, I understand this. Yeah. And there's some pieces of it I can't see from you guys' perspective. I'm looking at it from a parent's perspective and the success or failure of my son in this district. And it has been a battle from kindergarten on with my son. We finally got him to a point, and this Compass program has finally gotten to a point where the functionality of it and the inner workings of it are adhering. I mean, the children are taking to it. It's working, and a huge part of that success has been my son and other students' interactions with Miss Weigel. I think she's been just a key piece. I mean, I understand Philip Johnson. Don't get me wrong. But she's been a key piece to these kids' success or failure. And right now they're succeeding. And I understand you only got 9 students and you only want 1 teacher, but there's got to be some way to keep her somewhat involved with these kids, to keep her in touch with this program, somehow to keep these kids, at least for the first year, to keep these kids calm and help them ease into this very, very, very huge change in their lives. You know, I'm not trying to argue with you. Like I said, I fully understand you guys' point of view. I do. I honestly do. I'm just asking, you know, there must be some way you guys could look at it different to at least give them that first year, just give them a fighting chance to ease back into this with her help. Because I honestly think she's a big part of their success. So,
Can I ask you one question?
Yes, ma'am.
How old is your son and how long has he been with the program?
Dylan is going to be 13 in July. He's been with the program quite a while. I mean,
So he's been with the teacher or the...
I want to say he moved to this program like 3rd grade.
And how many years has he been with her?
With Miss
specifically?
Weigel, this
Yes.
is his second year with
Okay.
her.
Okay.
And you can ask Dr. Stefanik. I give him the freedom to tell you what it was like with my son and how far he has come. And this last year, honestly, has been the difference in night and day. And it is her. There is no doubt in my mind it's her. My son tells me it's her. You know? So I told him tonight I was going to come here and try and fight for him. And to try and keep her at least a part of this. Honestly, I think it would benefit the school district because those 9 kids, I know you don't want them to fail, you know? And you need to think about these kids don't take change well at all. That's why they're in the program. You're talking several changes and all of them massive and all of them in 1 year. To keep her a part of their lives and a part of that up there to ease their tension and their worry and their concerns about what they're going to be dealing with, I think you guys should really at least try and take a look at it. You know, for their sake, for our sake, for my sanity. You know, because my son is worried and the other kids are worried. And from what I've gotten from them, it's all centers around Miss Weigel not being there. That's their biggest concern right now. So,
And Miss Weigel is wonderful.
she's awesome. She's incredible. She has done wonders for the program, for the children. She cares. She just has a knack of being in touch with what those children are and finding ways to work with that. And I think that's huge. And honestly, Philip Johnson is good. They're a team. One thing about doing things is if it's working, you want to change as little as possible. Well, like I said, moving it to the middle school is great. I think it sets the kids up to prepare them to move back into the general population. I think that's what should happen. But to change the program like that and pull her out at the same time, moving them up to the middle school, you got to think of what that's going to do to these 9 kids. You know, common sense tells me it's setting them up for failure. Some of them are going to fall, if not all of them or half of them, and I don't think you guys want that. I don't want that. You know?
Let me say a couple of things. Normally, during this time, we don't have sort of a discussion, interaction, but I'm glad you're here and I'm glad we're having it. One, I mean, obviously, you care very much for your child, and so I'm going to let you. I want to have this discussed. 2, it's on for a decision tonight. And so, you know, you've given us some questions and some perspective that I think is valuable. Another thing I'll add is, I mean, all of these changes that we've discussed, if things don't work, we're committed to changing them again. And so I can hear that you're saying you don't think that even the change to begin with is appropriate. But, you know, if it's not serving the needs of these students, then, I mean, I think you put us on notice that we need to make changes quickly.
Well, I think the change is good, that part of it. I think moving them, that part is good. But to fundamentally change the program at the same time is what I'm kind of having a real hesitancy about. You know, that's kind of where I'm coming from. Not so much the change itself. Like I said, I think change is good for these kids. They need it. They need to get closer to that general population and get used to interacting with others and knowing what it's like. You know, they've been isolated up here for quite a while. And that's the part that makes me hesitate to pull her out of there and change the program. Is going to put a lot of stress on these 9 kids. So, like I said, the change, yeah, absolutely, I'm for it. I fully understand that. Really, I do. There just shouldn't be so much of it at one time, you know. That's kind of where I'm coming from. So. But I've taken up enough of your time. I really appreciate you guys listening to me. So.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Was there anyone else that wanted to speak during this time on any issue relevant to the school district?